Incredible encounter, a shivering girl at the bus stop discovers heartwarming love from a child. Mia shivered at the bus stop, her worn, oversized jacket flapping like a flag of defiance against the biting cold. The bustling urban neighborhood glowed with warmth, laughter, and bright colors that felt so far from her reality. She hugged herself tightly, hoping the bus would arrive soon. The kids at school felt like they were from another planet, one where clothes didn't tell a story of struggle, where laughter didn't sting like a piercing cold. They called her words like poor and ugly, making sure she felt every bit of the economic divide between them, but tonight, snowflakes danced in the streetlights like tiny stars, making everything seem just a bit magical. Just as that thought warmed her heart, a figure approached, a silhouette against the snowy backdrop. It was Lucas, the buoyant boy from the affluent neighborhood nearby. Mia watched as he jogged toward her, his bright scarf bobbing like sunshine. "Hey!" he called, breath steaming in the chilly air. "You look like you could use some hot cocoa." He handed her a steaming cup, the warmth radiating through her fingers. And here he draped his bright scarf around her neck. The shock made her heart race. A boy like him, rich, cheerful, popular, was offering her kindness instead of ridicule. Mia met his gaze, searching for a trick. "Why are you being nice to me?" she whispered, her voice barely breaking through the cold air. "Why not? It's freezing." His genuine smile melted the skepticism in her chest. They started talking, their words weaving a connection beyond their different worlds. They giggled about silly things, school jokes, dream careers. When Mia revealed her ambition to be a writer, she felt a spark of understanding light up between them. She wanted to capture beauty in her stories, the beauty she struggled to see herself. Lucas shared his mission to give back to their community. His heart was full of joy, but it pushed against the edge of something deeper, something real. As their friendship blossomed, it felt like the barriers of class were vanishing. But just when Mia was starting to feel a flicker of hope, misunderstanding tore at their connection. An assignment, what was supposed to be fun, turned into a race. They were both vying for the role of lead in the school play. Hurt and betrayed, Mia felt the weight of her peers' judgment drape over her shoulders like a heavy shroud. Before the annual community talent show, Mia found herself on the brink. In a moment of bravery, she decided to perform a poem about resilience. Standing in front of the crowd, she felt the intensity choke her voice, but the words flowed out, fierce and real, echoing her struggles. Lucas, watching with wide eyes, realized how powerful Mia was. He felt something shift. This moment mattered not just for her, but for them. In her vulnerability, he found strength. Would he find the courage to stand up for the friend he knew he could be proud of, or would societal expectations pull them apart in the chill of judgment? Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Mia's voice filled the room, each word a part of her heart. As she looked out, uncertainty bubbled inside her. Everyone was silent, captivated. Lucas stepped forward, his resolve building, ready to face the tide of comments and accusations. Would their friendship transcend the divides that had once threatened to tear them apart? Would they dare to wrap each other in the warmth of acceptance, as snow continued to fall around them, blanketing their world? In a fresh new layer of hope, Mia stepped off the stage, her heart racing. The warmth of the crowd's applause enveloped her, but inside, she felt a storm of emotions. Lucas stayed behind, visibly transformed. She could see it in his eyes, a mix of admiration and determination. He had witnessed her true self, the part that thrived on poetry and dreams. But would he also see her struggle against the currents of judgment? As they exited the auditorium, the cold air hit them more fiercely, contrasting the warmth of shared moments. Lucas caught up to her, his scarf still wrapped around her neck. "You were amazing," he exclaimed, his voice full of sincerity. "Thanks," Mia replied shyly. "I was just trying to be real." They walked side by side, navigating through the throngs of students chatting about the show. But as the chatter faded, doubt crept in. What if everything changed now? What if their budding friendship faded with the glow of the stage lights? "I mean it," Lucas continued, catching her gaze. "You were so brave. I wish I could express myself like that." Mia felt a warmth blooming inside her. "You could, you know. If you found the right words." His expression shifted, a flicker of vulnerability crossing his face. "I've been trying to find my voice too. It's just, sometimes I think people only see me as the rich kid." "Does it bother you?" she asked. "Yeah," he admitted, glancing away. "Sometimes it's suffocating." In that moment, she understood him more than ever, the pressure of expectation, the struggles hidden beneath bright smiles. Maybe they were more alike than she'd originally thought. They reached the bus stop, the familiar sight staving off Mia's worries. It felt oddly comforting, like a second home, a place where she could wait in peace. But then, the shadows of their classmates loomed nearby, whispers slithering through the air like sharp daggers. Mia's heart sank as she caught snippets of conversation. "Did you see that? The poor girl thinks she can actually make it with a poem." "Yeah, right. That Lucas is wasting his time." Mia's hands trembled, anger rising within her. She looked at Lucas, expecting to see the hurt reflected in his face. But instead, there was a fierce resolve. "Let them talk," he said quietly, his jaw clenched. "They're just scared of what they don't understand." In that instant, something sparked between them, a realization that transcended their circumstances. They didn't have to fit into anyone's mold. Their voices mattered, and so did their friendship. Mia nodded, a small smile breaking through the storm of her thoughts. "Want to write something together?" Lucas suggested, his eyes lighting up as he rubbed his hands together for warmth. "Maybe we can shake things up with the next school project." "That would be fun." Mia's excitement bubbled over. They could combine their ideas, merging his creativity and her knack for words. It felt good, like bouncing back against the chill. As the bus arrived, they climbed aboard, hearts full of possibilities. But as they settled in, Mia's mind flickered with worry. What would happen once they returned to reality? Would the whispers grow louder? Would they stand as a united front, despite the odds against them? The bus rumbled along, each bump jostling her thoughts one more time. Would she find the courage to continue being herself, even if it meant facing harsh truths, and could Lucas really break free from his own constraints? And just when they thought they could catch their breath, Mia spotted something out the window that made her heart drop. A group of familiar faces glaring at them from the sidewalk, laughter echoing behind them like a mocking chorus. Would they rise together or fall apart in the face of cruelty? The stakes suddenly felt higher, and the path ahead blurred with uncertainty. The bus rounded a corner, and Mia's heart sank deeper at the sight of the group gathered outside. They looked like wolves waiting to pounce, their laughter sharp and taunting. She couldn't pull her gaze away. "Hey, don't let them get to you," Lucas said gently, sensing her unease. He placed a hand reassuringly on her shoulder. "Look at me, okay? Focus on us." Mia nodded, though the laughter still echoed in her mind. She turned her head to him, seeking solace in his steady gaze. "What if they really want to let it go? What if what we're trying to do makes it worse?" "We're breaking the mold," Lucas said, his voice firm, echoing the resolve she saw in his eyes. "And it won't happen overnight, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't try." Mia took a deep breath, letting his words settle in. Maybe he was right. They didn't have to stay silent or hide in the shadows of their reputations. With every moment spent in his company, a flicker of her confidence ignited. Perhaps they could stand tall, side by side, even when the world felt against them. As they pulled up to their stop, the group of students loomed larger, a wall of judgment ready to block their path. Mia felt her heart racing. She wasn't afraid of what they would say, she was afraid of what it might do to her and Lucas. But before she could give it too much thought, Lucas stepped off the bus first, glancing back at her with a steady look. "Let us go," he said, determination shining in his eyes. They descended the steps together, and a silence fell over the group as they approached. The laughter faded into low whispers, but Mia felt Lucas' hand brush against hers, and it filled her with a strange sense of strength. Together, they walked forward. "Look who thinks they're a poet now," one of the boys sneered, stepping forward. "You really think you can make something of yourself?" Mia felt heat rising in her cheeks, ready to retreat. But Lucas stood firm beside her. "Yeah, she does," he replied, his voice steady and calm. "And it's a lot more than you'll ever achieve with your pointless comments." The words hit like a wave crashing against a wall. Mia glanced at him, surprised but impressed. There was something freeing in his defiance, and for a moment, the world felt lighter. "Maybe you should try expressing yourself without the nasty remarks," Mia added, feeling a flicker of bravery, too. It felt good to stand tall, to break the mold. The crowd froze, and some of their harsh expressions wavered. Mia could see a few students shifting uncomfortably, unsure of how to respond to this new energy between Lucas and her. "Whatever. You'll regret this," one of the girls muttered as she turned away, taking a few steps back. Mia and Lucas exchanged a quick glance, their eyes filled with a mix of surprise and exhilaration. They had stood together, faced the storm, and for a moment, it felt like they had won. As they made their way away from the group, Mia felt her heart surge. Not just from the confrontation, but also from the realization that she was no longer alone. Lucas had her back, and that meant everything. "Did we just?" she asked, breathless. "Yeah, I think we did," Lucas replied, a grin breaking over his face. They laughed, a spontaneous dialogue merging their shared relief. The weight of the moment lingered, but it felt lighter now. Together they could confront anything that came their way, but as they continued onward, Mia couldn't shake the nagging doubt: what about tomorrow? The battle was just beginning. Would they continue to face their classmates together, or would fear creep back in and tear them apart? Little did they know, a new challenge awaited, one that would force them to confront their fears head-on and test the strength of their growing bond. Would they rise stronger or falter under the weight of expectations? The air felt different the next morning. As Mia sat on the bus, her stomach twisted in knots. The confrontation from yesterday had left her exhilarated, but now doubt crept in. Would they be met with hostility again? She glanced over at Lucas. He seemed unfazed, gazing out the window as the scenery rushed past. His confidence was contagious, and she tried to siphon some strength from it. As they pulled up to the school, anxiety hung heavy in the air, masking the morning light. The group of students was waiting again, though Mia noticed less bravado in their laughter this time. A few looked her way, their expressions more curious than mocking. "Ready?" Lucas asked, prompting her to look at him. His eyes sparkled with determination despite her inner turmoil. "All set," she fibbed, unwilling to reveal the tremor in her voice. Together they stepped off the bus. Then, the world tilted again. A girl with fiery red hair, someone Mia had never spoken to, stepped out in front of them, blocking their path. "I heard what you said yesterday," she said, her tone sharp. Mia's heart hammered against her chest. Oh no, not again. But instead of confrontation, the girl surprised her. "I think it's brave." The surprise washed over Mia like a warm wave, almost soothing her fear. "You're standing up to them. No one usually does." Lucas straightened next to Mia, his demeanor steady. "Thanks," he replied, his voice steady. That felt good. We needed to hear someone else might agree. Mia felt something shift inside her. Maybe they weren't alone in their fight after all. The crowd around them seemed to stir, a few heads nodding along, as if the girl's bravery had sparked a fire behind them. The boys who had mocked her both days shuffled their feet, casting sideways glances. Mia's heart danced at the sight. Maybe they were catching on. Maybe without warning, another unexpected voice piped up. It belonged to a quiet boy Mia had only ever passed in the hallways. I think it was cool, too. I want to write something, but he looked down, mumbling the last part. I'm too scared to show anyone. Mia writes poetry, Lucas said, pride radiating from him. It was like handing out an invitation, a token of solidarity. She could help you. Mia finally found her voice. Yeah. I'd love to. The words tumbled out before she could second guess. There was a ripple of encouragement from the crowd, like a wave forming at the beach before crashing. Maybe we can start a club. For people who want to share their writing without judgment. The idea sprang to life as she spoke, stirring excitement in her chest. Was that even possible? The boy beamed, his face lighting up as he replied. I'd join that. Excitement mixed with fear. Mia saw the glimmer of potential in what they were building, even amidst the uncertainty of tomorrow's challenges. But just when it felt like hope was winning, a familiar voice sliced through the air. It was the girl from yesterday, striding forward with confidence. You think you're changing something? Your little club is a joke. Chills ran down Mia's spine, and she felt the support around her falter. More members would mean more exposure to criticism, to being hurt. Would they be able to keep their heads held high? Would their small moments of hope crumble again? There, with Lucas beside her, Mia took a deep breath, a flicker of resolve reigniting inside her. This was just the beginning, and she was ready to fight for whatever came next. The question lingered in the air. Could they really overcome the setbacks and build that new community, or would doubt win out once more? Mia held her breath, the air thick with tension. The red-haired girl smirked as she surveyed the group, like a predator sizing up its prey. Just when doubt took root in Mia's thoughts, she felt a reassuring squeeze on her wrist. Lucas had her back. Just keep talking, he whispered, his voice firm yet gentle, as if he could sense the storm inside her. She nodded, knowing whatever came next, they wouldn't face it alone. We can make it better, actually, Mia found her voice. It's about all the stories nobody hears yet. Just because they haven't been shared doesn't mean they aren't important. Her heart raced, daring to spill words she hoped would ignite something within the crowd. The girl rolled her eyes but didn't turn away. Right. More of the once upon a time nonsense. Good luck with that. Mia's resolve hardened. Maybe it's nonsense to you, but to us, it's our truth. Every voice deserves to be heard. She could feel the murmurs of agreement swirling around her, lifting her spirit. Yeah, came a voice from the back. It was a girl Mia recognized, a quiet artist whose sketchbook was always clutched close. I want to tell my story too. Mia's breath caught. That was it, pieces were falling together. They could really do this. See? There's more than just mockery in here, Lucas added, gesturing broadly to their classmates. You think we're all jokes? Maybe you're the one missing out. The girl's bravado slipped as the crowd shifted, uncertainty sweeping over the faces that had once laughed at Mia. Their gazes darted away from her, landing on the red-haired girl as they began to question their own loyalties. I don't care what any of you think, she snapped, but her voice quivered slightly, betraying her irritation. Despite the facade, cracks were appearing in her confidence. Mia sensed the sea of heart stirring, doubt, fear, unpleasant experiences mixed with a budding bravery united by their shared stories. We can create a space where it's okay to express ourselves, our pain, our joy, everything, she said, pouring every ounce of her longing into her words. We might surprise ourselves. The quiet boy spoke again, this time louder. I'm tired of being scared. This matters. The red-haired girl's expression faltered. For a moment, Mia could see panic jostle against bravado. And if it fails? She shot back, crossing her arms defiantly, but her voice lacked the earlier sting. Mia could feel her heart soar and tremble at the same time. What if we fly? The question lingered in the air, a challenge for them all. Around them, small nods grew stronger. Someone in the back called out, "I'll join." A ripple spread through the crowd. One by one, students voiced their willingness to try, to share. Suddenly, the bell rang, breaking the electricity in the air. The laughter and chatter surged back, but the touching moment lingered. As they walked to class, Mia felt Lucas brush against her shoulder, a warmth blooming in her chest. "You were amazing," he whispered, pride shining in his eyes. "Did that really just happen?" "More than that. You've got something they need. I think they finally see it." But as she tried to savor the moment, Mia couldn't shake the unease that followed the girl's words hung heavily in her mind. Would the support last? What if the wave of courage faded? That lingering question trailed like a shadow as the day unfolded in rushes of new excitement and uncertainty. Just as Mia began to believe they could create something powerful together and wonderful, Lucas leaned closer. "Hey, do you want to meet after school? I have an idea to make this club even better." Her heart raced. But as the last bell rang, Mia couldn't shake the feeling they were on a precipice. What awaited them between hope, courage, and the fear of failure? Would they take the leap together, or would the weight of doubt crush their dreams? As the final bell echoed through the hallways, Mia felt both excited and anxious. The weight of the day settled on her shoulders as she made her way through the bustling crowd. Students poured out of classrooms, laughing and chatting, but their voices felt distant to her. No amount of chatter could drown out her thoughts. What if they didn't show up? What if their little moment was just a fleeting spark? The weight of uncertainty nagged at her as she walked with Lucas towards the bus stop. The air was crisp, the sun sinking low, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink. It was a beautiful sight that normally would have brought her peace, but instead, it twisted into doubt. "Hey," Lucas said, breaking her trance. "You okay?" "Yeah," she replied, not really convincing herself. "Just wondering if we can really pull this off." "They're with you, Mia. Trust me." Lucas's voice was steady, collecting stray pieces of her wavering resolve. As they reached the bus stop, Mia noticed the familiar faces around them: the quiet artist, the boy who had spoken up, even a few others who had hesitated before. Each looked a little softer, a little more united in their purpose. "Okay, guys, I want to hear your ideas," Mia said, trying to summon the same energy that had ignited the room earlier. "We have to make this real." As they gathered around, Lucas took the lead. "What if we set up a booth at the next school event? We could share our stories, invite others to join, and really get this rolling." "Yeah. We can create posters." A girl chimed in, her eyes brightening. "Visual art can help too." There was a sudden wave of enthusiasm. Ideas sprang forth. Everyone shared their thoughts, their dreams, and Mia felt every pulse of creativity ignite the air around them. But just as they began to cultivate what was a thriving garden of ideas, the red-haired girl appeared at the edge of the group, arms crossed and a hostile glint in her eyes. "What are you all whispering about?" she demanded, tossing her hair back defiantly. "You really think this will work?" Mia swallowed hard but found her voice again. "We do. We think everyone's voice matters." "Nice speech, but we'll see how long that lasts," she shot back. But this time, there was a hint of vulnerability breaking through her bravado. The group had grown stronger, united. "Yeah, and maybe you'd like to join us, be part of it instead of just tearing us down," Lucas added, standing tall. Mia held her breath. What if she rejected them outright? The girl shifted her weight, hesitation evident on her face. Slowly, she stepped forward. "Maybe," she hesitated, "maybe I could write too. If you really mean that everyone's voice matters." Mia felt a jolt of surprise ripple through her. Did she just suggest joining them? "Yes. Please do." Mia breathed, hardly believing her ears. "We want to hear your story." An unexpected shift took place. The warmth of acceptance began to spread through their little gathering, forming connections that once seemed impossible. Just then, the bus pulled up, a symbol of a new journey waiting to unfold. As they boarded, Mia caught Lucas's gaze. He smiled, and in that moment, everything felt clearer. This was more than just a project, it was a chance to build something real. Yet as they settled onto the bus, a nagging thought crept back in. Could they really build a community like they envisioned? Suddenly, the engine revved, and the bus lurched forward, taking them into the unknown. What awaited them on this journey? Could a simple idea of sharing stories turn into something transformative? Would they be brave enough to face everything ahead, together? Mia settled into her seat, the light from the evening sun casting a golden glow on her and her friends. They were surrounded by chatter and laughter, but Mia's mind was racing. The bus bounced along, jolting her thoughts, but she couldn't shake the lingering doubts. The conversation earlier kept replaying like a catchy tune stuck in her head. What if we really can't pull this off? She thought, biting her lip. The faces of the group filled her mind. Each one had a story, but would they truly share them? She stole a glance at Lucas, who sat beside her. He was excitedly discussing ideas with the others, gesturing animatedly. His passion fueled her resolve, but the shadows of anxiety danced at the edges of her thoughts. Suddenly, the bus lurched to a stop, and the familiar faces of their classmates began to pour inside. Mia recognized the shy artist with the sketchbook and the girls who had just begun to find their voices. The red-haired girl, what was her name again? Had taken a seat further back, looking unsure, her bravado stripped away with the breeze. Mia felt a flicker of hope alongside her worries. It was still fragile, she needed to nurture it. We should brainstorm some themes for our booth, Mia suggested, her voice a touch louder to pierce the enveloping noise. How about identities? Or overcoming challenges? Identity. One of the girls exclaimed, her enthusiasm brightening the bus. We all have different stories about who we are. That's perfect. Lucas chimed in, a grin plastered on his face. We can create a section where people can share what makes them unique. Mia could feel the energy building, the tension of uncertainty melting away. Just as she thought things were looking up, the bus jerked again, a minor pothole causing a ripple of laughter. Everyone was settling into a rhythm, sharing their ideas, while she shared her attention back and forth between her friends and the world outside, but then she noticed the red-haired girl watching from afar, her arms still crossed. Mia could see a transformation take place, the girl's posture softened slightly, like she was trying to warm up inside despite the chill of her earlier demeanor. Taking a deep breath, Mia leaned back to her. Hey! I'm Mia. The girl's eyes flickered with surprise. I'm Hazel, she replied hesitantly, her guard still present but starting to lower. Do you have any ideas for our booth? Mia asked, keeping her tone light. I think your writing could really add something special. Hazel hesitated, and for a moment, the noise of the bus faded away. I don't know if my story's worth sharing. What if nobody cares? Mia's heart raced. All stories are worth sharing. It's not about being perfect, it's about being real. Hazel blinked, and Mia held her breath, hoping to reach the piece of her that wanted connection. Maybe I can come up with something. Just a thought. There was a subtle shift, a crack in the armor. That's all we need. Mia encouraged. Let's just start writing and see where it takes us. The bus was approaching the community center, the venue for their first big event. Excitement bubbled like a soda can about to pop open, and Mia felt it zipping through her veins. They were stepping into the unknown, but the spirit of unity was there with them. As they disembarked, Mia noticed the sky had deepened into a rich indigo. The possibilities stretched out before them like uncharted territory. All right, everyone. Let us show them that sharing our voices matters. She exclaimed, adrenaline coursing through her. However, as they began walking toward the entrance, Mia felt a shiver run down her spine, not from the chill in the air, but from the weight of what they were about to undertake. And she wondered, could they truly shape a movement from their fragile beginnings? What awaited them inside? Just then, a sudden commotion erupted behind them, pulling Mia's attention back as she caught a glimpse of a figure stumbling at the bus stop. Mia turned, her heart racing as she watched the figure struggle for balance. A girl, around her age, with tousled hair and clothes slightly rumpled, stumbled forward, nearly missing the bus shelter. The noise around her faded into a muffled backdrop, replaced by the pulse of curiosity. "Hey, watch out!" yelled Lucas, instinctively taking a step toward the girl. Mia followed closely, the worry etched on her face. The girl finally steadied herself, brushing off her jeans, her eyes wide with embarrassment. "I'm okay, I'm fine," she said quickly, yet her voice trembled, giving away her frazzled state. "Are you sure?" Mia ventured, her compassion pushing her to reach out. The girl's face was flushed, not just from the stumble but from something deeper. There was a fear clinging to her that Mia couldn't ignore. The girl looked down for a moment, her cheeks still pink. I didn't think I'd make it in time," she admitted, biting her lip. "I was going to miss the bus," and now her voice trailed off, leaving a silence hanging in the air. Mia felt her heart soften. "You didn't miss it. You're here now. That's what matters." Slowly, the girl met Mia's gaze, and for a moment, time stood still. There was something in her eyes, a flicker of vulnerability that Mia recognized. "I'm Sophie," she said quietly. "I'm not really sure I belong here. I've never done anything like this before." The sincerity in her voice resonated with Mia. "Neither have we. We're all here to figure things out together," she replied, her smile warm and inviting. "We're sharing our stories. It's a safe space." Sophie's brows furrowed slightly. "Really? I don't know if anyone will want to listen to mine." "Of course they will." Lucas chimed in, stepping forward. "Everyone has a story worth telling. Trust me, you'll be surprised." Mia felt a surge of hope. If Sophie could see that her voice mattered, maybe the same could be true for Hazel. "Why don't we go inside together? You can share what you want, and if you don't feel ready, that's okay too. You can just listen." There was a moment of hesitation, but Mia could see a flicker of determination behind Sophie's shy demeanor. She nodded slowly, taking a deep breath. "Okay. I'll give it a try." As they walked together toward the entrance, Mia could see the tension in Sophie's shoulders slowly easing. The sight filled her with pride. They were creating something special, not just a booth, but a nurturing environment where everyone could shine. Inside, the community center buzzed with energy. Ribbons of colored lights danced under the high ceiling, and chatter echoed off the walls. Suddenly, the world felt bigger, brightened by the potential that lay ahead. But just as they started to navigate through the bustling crowd, a loud crash came from the other side of the room, drawing everyone's attention. Chairs clattered, and a cluster of people gasped, their faces filled with surprise. Mia's stomach dropped. "What was that?" she whispered to Lucas, her earlier confidence wavering. The noise settled into a tense silence, and Mia held her breath, waiting for the next moment to unfold. She sensed something big was about to happen, and she was caught on the edge of anticipation. "What do you think it could be?" Sophie murmured, her eyes wide with both curiosity and fear. Mia glanced at the scene ahead, feeling the knot in her chest tighten. "I don't know, but we should check it out." As they moved closer, the collective gasp of the crowd echoed like a drumroll, and Mia couldn't shake the feeling that whatever they were about to discover could change everything. As Mia and Sophie crept closer to the source of the commotion, the buzz of the gathering crowd enveloped them like an unexpected wave. Mia's heartbeat quickened. She caught glimpses of a scattering of people, the jagged edges of a scene unfolding in real time, but she couldn't make out the details. "What happened?" Sophie asked, her voice small, almost drowned out by the murmurs surrounding them. "I don't know, but it sounds serious," Mia replied, the pit in her stomach deepening. Peering through the throng, she finally saw a girl maybe a little older than them crumpled on the floor, her backpack spilled beside her. Books and papers lay scattered, surrounding her like fallen petals. Hey, are you okay? Lucas called, his concern cutting through the chaos. There was no answer, only silence thick with uncertainty. Mia could hardly breathe as she pushed through the crowd, feeling the heat of worried bodies brushing past. Mia. Lucas's voice pulled her back to focus. He had found a way through to the girl. Sophie clung to Mia's arm, her wide eyes scanning the room for any signs of danger. Let us see what is going on, Mia urged, consciousness sharpening as they transitioned between whispers of concern. They finally reached the girl, who had her head buried in her knees, fists balled tightly. Hey, Mia said softly, kneeling beside her. Can we help you? What happened? The girl lifted her head, and the world around them fell silent. Her face was streaked with tears, and that vulnerability pierced Mia's heart. It's so hard, she stammered, her voice barely above a whisper. I thought I could handle it, but everything feels so heavy. Mia instinctively reached out, giving the girl's shoulder a gentle squeeze. You're not alone. We're all here for you. What is your name? I'm Jenna, she replied, her breath hitching as she fought to steady herself. Mia felt a tug inside her. Jenna, this is Lucas and Sophie. We're all here to listen, no judgment. Just take your time. Jenna nodded, a flicker of something like gratitude lighting her eyes. A deep breath later, Jenna spoke. I just moved here. No friends, no one I can talk to. I thought this would be different, but it's just lonely. I tried to reach out, to fit in, but it's just so hard. Her voice cracked, the raw emotion spilling over. As Jenna spoke, Mia felt a wave of understanding wash over her. The feeling of isolation, the courage it took to reach out, and the vulnerability of laying one's heart bare resonated deeply. Sophie leaned forward, her earlier nervousness replacing with determination. I just met Mia and Lucas, and I was scared too. But we're all figuring things out together. You'll find your place here, I promise. Her words felt like a lifeline, weaving through the atmosphere heavy with uncertainty. Suddenly, the air shifted. The crowd around them began to murmur softly, and someone lifted a phone to capture the moment. Mia glanced around, feeling the subtle pressure of eyes on them but letting it wash away. She focused back on Jenna. Sharing this moment with you makes it all worthwhile, Mia said earnestly, her chest swelling with compassion. Let us take it step by step together. That's what this place is all about, support. But as Jenna nodded, a loud voice cut through the room. What are you doing? Why are you making a scene? A sharply dressed woman pushed through the gathering, her frown carving into the air. Mia felt heat rush to her cheeks. This woman, who appeared to cascade negativity, threatened to disrupt everything they were building in this moment. Jenna flinched, and Mia's heart sank. What was happening next? Would the warmth they had created vanish in an instant? Mia, we can't let her chase us away, Sophie whispered urgently, as the tension pressed tighter around them. Mia looked at Jenna, who now appeared even smaller beneath the sharp gaze of disapproval. We'll stand together, Mia decided, her determination growing. You're not alone, Jenna. Not now. The tension held like an unbearable weight, suspended in the air. Would their bond hold, or would the pressure unravel it all before it truly formed? And as the crowd watched with bated breath, uncertainty loomed, waiting for its moment to strike. Mia felt the tension around them crack like ice, but her heart surged with something new, pure determination. Listen, she said, raising her voice for everyone to hear. This is a safe space, and we're here to support each other. We won't let anyone's negativity drown that out. Jenna looked up at her with wide, grateful eyes. It was as if Mia's words lifted a heavy veil, inviting the warmth of acceptance to settle around them once more. The crowd was silent, waiting. The woman's frown deepened, but she hesitated, clearly unsettled by the unity forming around Jenna. That's right. Lucas chimed in, stepping beside Mia, his shoulder brushing against hers. We're all here to listen and share. It's not a scene, it's a support system. His voice rang with conviction, echoing through the community center. One by one, students began to nod. They were not just onlookers, they were a part of this moment. Let us stand together. Someone called out from the back, and applause erupted. Mia's chest filled with hope. The walls they had fought against were suddenly whittling away, one cheer at a time. Jenna, you're not alone. Sophie added, stepping forward with renewed courage. We've all felt alone at some point. It's okay to say that. Jenna's shoulders relaxed slightly, and the tears shimmered in her eyes, but this time from relief rather than despair. She looked at the crowd, sensing the space where acceptance floated like the familiar hum of laughter and connection. I didn't think anyone would understand, she stammered. But it feels good to be seen. The warm atmosphere spun around them, knitting the fabric of shared experiences, hopes, and dreams. Mia's gaze flickered to the woman who had initially stormed in, and she could see a change, a crack in her harsh demeanor. Maybe she was starting to realize how powerful moments of vulnerability and support could be. That's the beauty of it, Mia said, her voice steady. We're all just trying to find our way and help each other along the journey. She could feel everyone leaning closer, absorbing her words. Each pair of eyes sparkled with something they had not felt in a long time, belonging. As the crowd began to nod in agreement, the woman's frown softened. Maybe, she suddenly said, you're right. Maybe we've all been a bit afraid. The admission hung in the air like an avenue for change. A boy in the crowd raised his hand. Can we do something together? Like a collective poem or a story? The energy shifted, innovative ideas poured out, woven with laughter and hope. Yes. Let us create something alive, something that reflects our combined experiences. We're stronger together, Mia proclaimed, her heart racing with excitement. Yeah. I want to add something too. Echoed another voice, inspiring murmurs of agreement. Lucas leaned closer to Mia, his voice a whisper of joy. I can't believe how quickly things turned around. Wow, this is amazing. A smile bloomed on Mia's face, pure and radiant. They were creating something bigger than themselves. It wasn't just about poetry or stories, it was about building a community that valued every voice, every struggle, and every triumph. She caught Jenna's eye, and for the first time, she spotted a spark of belief reflected back. Then, as the air filled with ideas and enthusiasm, Mia realized something monumental. This was the transformation they had all been searching for. They had forged a safe space from what had once felt like a heavy burden. As laughter and voices blended into a harmony of excitement, Mia's heart swelled. They were writing not just words, but a new story, one that echoed with passion, bravery, and hope. Together, they stood taller than any barriers that tried to hold them back, and just when Jenna began to share her story, the world opened wide. The air vibrated with every heart, every word spoken creating ripples of resilience that would last long after this moment. It was not just a gathering, it was a movement. As Mia stepped back, she felt Lucas's hand wrap around hers, steadfast and warm. Their eyes met, and understanding flowed between them. With courage and creativity, they were about to change the narrative not just for themselves but for every single person gathered. Together, they had taken the leap and soared. Now was the time for you to take action too. You need to subscribe now to not miss out on these exclusive journeys of heart and transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and make this community grow. Comment below with your reactions and feelings about this incredible ending. And don't wait not even one more second. Share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to witness this heartwarming journey. Together, let us create a wave of support.